excited to host you today, Jessica, the new owner of Bella Cora, which is formerly known as Bella Sucra. So thank you, Jessica, for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Awesome. So before we get started with our session, and so you can hear a little bit more about Jessica and her business acquisition that she just acquired, and the business that she just acquired, and all of her future goals in her business. So before we get started with our session today, I wanted to share with you a little bit more about our Women's Center and how we're here to service our El Paso community. My name is Mary Helen. I'm the program director. I'm really happy to announce that we have been servicing our small business community for 20 years now, and we've celebrated our 20th anniversary in October. So just know that everything that you're going to hear about today is available for our community at large. So just to share with you some highlights about our Hispanic Chamber, we are also celebrating our 30th year anniversary for our Hispanic Chamber. We do have over 2,000 business members, and we're thankfully continually growing. We employ 20 full-time staff, and we're governed by a board of directors. So I just wanted to take this time to show you a little bit more about our Hispanic Chamber. We do have our membership department where they have all of their business networking activities conducted virtually now. I'm a part of our Women's Center is a part of our Entrepreneurial Development Division, and this is where we have our ETA centers, and we have our Women's Business Border Center where we assist new businesses in starting and growing their business up to 3 years. We also have our MBDA Business Center, and that's a funded program through the Department of Commerce, and they also target growing minority businesses and helping them get to the next level in their business. And also our Minority Women Enterprise Diversity Center, and this is where we target minority women on a national scale to provide key services to help them grow their business. We also have some marketing opportunities through our marketing department. We have advertising opportunities through our website, our onlines. So if you are a local business owner, please let us know how you can advertise or promote yourself within our channels. We also have our Education Foundation where we provide scholarships to exiting seniors, and we will be happy to provide that if you contact our chamber office to provide you more information about that. Our entrepreneurial assistance centers that I mentioned is our Women's Center, our MBDA Business Center, and also our MWDC, like I just mentioned. And our main mission here at the Women's Business Border Center is to assist anyone, regardless of their business, educational, or their financial background, to start and run a successful business. So if you're anyone in the audience or viewers are interested in starting a business or know someone, please have them reach out to us. We'd be happy to assist them. So a little bit more about our Women's Business Border Center. We're one of 117 women business centers that are located throughout the country. We are in partnership with the Small Business Administration. They have some great programs. So we would love the opportunity to share with you a little bit more about those programs. We do specialize in business development from 0 to 3 years, and we do have our COVID business response team that can assist you with your business if you have been impacted by COVID-19. And also, if you are needing financing or you need money because you have been impacted by COVID, please reach out to us. We do have some grant funds available, and we also have some business kits so you can safely reopen your business. So with that, I will go ahead and stop sharing my screen, and I'll go ahead and share with you a little bit more about our guest speaker today, Jessica Zaragoza. So Jessica Zaragoza, she was born and raised here in El Paso, Texas, and is very close to her roots. And Jessica attended UTEP right after high school, but decided it wasn't for her, and she decided to attend culinary school at Le Cordon Bleu in Canada, which is one of the most prestigious culinary schools. At the beginning, she was striving for cuisine, and pastry was only to learn something new. After only a few weeks, she found her passion and learned that she really loved baking. That's really awesome. Once she earned her diploma, she attended the French pastry school in Chicago to further her education on cake decorating techniques, which she hopes to integrate into her newly acquired bakery. After she received both diplomas, she took 2 years to travel the world as much as possible. While traveling, she was able to take advantage of the opportunity to explore beautiful places around the globe, but also took the opportunity to educate herself on the different cultures and flavors. After traveling around the globe, she returned to the Sun City to work in the family business and was able to complete her bachelor's in business administration from UTEP. So thank you, Jessica. Thank you for being here and sharing your business journey with us.
Thank you for having me. I'm very excited to, even if it's a little bit of help to guide anyone, that's great.
Thank you. Awesome. And with that, we wanted to do this session with you because acquiring a business is a very big task. And I wanted for you just to share a little bit more about yourself. And was that something that you always wanted to do, is be a business owner as well?
It comes in the family. It's something that we always kind of knew we would have or we should know how to do. Um, and it's something that it just came to me. So as soon as I was even in school, my dad was always like, "Are you ready? Do you want to do something? What do you want me to put?" Like, no. I was so scared in high school. I mean, no, my getting my diplomas. I was like, I'm not ready yet. There's so much learning to do before then. So now I think after so many years of, although I haven't worked in a kitchen since I was in school. I mean, I work here at my home, but not professionally. But it's taken a lot of education and financially and both also experimenting a lot.
Awesome. Awesome. And what was your main reason for acquiring Bella Sucre?
It's been since actually a year ago that I decided that I want to be home. And when the opportunity came, it was something that it was in my horizon. I had decided that I want to be here in El Paso and do something with my pastry diploma. And when Jonathan decided to sell, I thought, what better way to start like that way? So that was the main reason I wanted to be here, also give back to the community as much as possible.
Wow, awesome. And how did you measure the potential and growth of the business prior to buying it?
So my biggest where I got all my information was from the former owner. He was very open with me. Our first meeting, he told me this is what it is. This is what you would get. So I was able to see the bakeries. I saw what there was, both not only material wise, but the assets. But then I see like all the different potential that it has. So it just not only what I can bring in, but also what can I do with what he already has done through the past years, and then what can also our customers want. So it's been one of a lot of research, research,
Good.
more research.
And would you share with our audience the different ways of research, and how did you research the business market? What did you find very key?
So a couple years back, I started doing my market research just because I wanted to open up a business. So it's something that I've done before, and I need to do. But obviously, you need to look financially, but you also have to go through who's your competition, what's around you, what do they offer, the prices, and it's also legally need to know there's so many small fine print that sometimes we're not aware, and it's something that there's still so much to see. So my biggest research was the locations that he already had, and because at some point I did want to move to a different location just because the bakery is so small, the space that we have, and I want to do more. So, but just it's not possible to just move, uproot everything, and mostly because we're so close to the holidays. So it's a little tricky, but my research was mainly that just what's around us, what can we offer, and what um, the price range also that the customers want to buy in.
Would you be willing to share what tools did you use for your research? Was it Googling, or are there any other sites that you wanted to maybe share with our audience that you found that were really helpful?
So my biggest one was Google, definitely. I didn't go through so many, like my biggest one was just walking around. I drove around. I went, I've done, like I said, I've done this a few years back. So I went into different bakeries, what they have, the prices that they have. I tasted everything. And that was the main one. I went down to each of them and tried what they have to offer. Is there something that I can do, or maybe better or different flavors? Or sometimes it's like, well, I can't do this, but I really like what you do here. Um,
Mhm.
not everyone is a competition. Not everyone's out to get you. It's just be informed as much as possible. But to me, I think the biggest experience is going to each of the locations, whatever you're researching. If it's a coffee shop or just like a accounting firm, like how many are there around you? What do they offer? How big are they? How small? What do, like, for example, in our case, we have two locations. So that's a big one too, that to see how many locations, how well they're doing. And so, yeah, that's my biggest tip for you.
Great. Thank you for sharing, Jessica, because it could be very overwhelming, tasking, but I think that's the best way, right? And especially tasting the product, because I bet you can just, everything, it just has to do with baking, right? With all the baked goods. um, how important was the company's rapport and reputation prior to you purchasing it? Was that a big factor for you when you decided to acquire the business?
Yes, it was. The reputation's something, one of the main things for me. Not that everybody has to go through that because I know some people don't really care for it. In my case, it was important because the day I opened, hopefully, I was hoping I would have income coming in, the revenue. I was lucky enough that I did. So if somebody already knows you, Jonathan had a very big following of very loyal customers. So for me, it was a risk, obviously, because some people don't want to. Sometimes they're like, well, it's going to be different. And I've had a lot of conversations with customers. They're like, well, it's not the same. And it might be maybe we've been doing the same recipes, we're doing following everything, but we yeah, that would be the biggest one for me was that he already had very loyal customers. People really liked it and they follow him very much. So for me, it was very important to have that.
Do you think it's important also to carry out the same recipes and carry out the same products for now? Or have you changed anything just yet?
No, we haven't changed anything as of now. We are experimenting. We are in the kitchen. We just haven't taken anything out yet because it's something that's very scary, both for me and the customers, because sometimes they want to have something the same way. And we're doing as much as we can. And like I said, we're experimenting in the kitchen as it is. We haven't taken anything new right now. It's all his same recipes, but it is important because people are used to that. They want to see that, and to see something change, it's it's a little scary. As just the fact that there's a new owner, we do have a lot of customers who come in and they're just like, "Is everything okay? How is everything going? Are you guys doing the same things?" So I need to make sure that they feel comfortable coming back to.
I know customer retention is so important, right? And keeping your customers happy and returning, of course. I guess we would go next on to the next question. How does one prepare for a business acquisition? What would you say the top three things someone should ask for or prepare for? What would you share, Jessica, about that?
Well, the first one is research, definitely. Like I mentioned
Hmm.
before, research. Also, you need to make sure that there's really not that you can't prepare, but there's always something that comes up. But definitely do your numbers, and do them again and do them again, because there's always something that's going to change. But be financially aware, be legally aware of everything that comes up, because sometimes you want to do something and it's not possible, or you want to put a certain price. Um, Definitely, that was the biggest thing for me, was doing my research, the market research, doing all my financial matters, and also making sure that everything within an acquisition, we did an asset purchase. So it's different as a, like if it's a company purchase, so it's very different depending on what you're doing. But in my case, it was just a lot of inventory, just making sure everything was um, proportioned correctly. So yeah, I think the biggest one would be financially aware of everything that can come up too, because it doesn't matter how much you prepare. There something that always comes up, or you just missed it by, even though if it's maybe $1, it can be even up to $1,000 or something. So just be prepared to have modifications ever so often. So I did my numbers probably every 2 to 3 days and recheck them. And my sister and my father also helped me a lot with that. And going back to the numbers and, did you check this? Are you sure? And it's just, for me, was the biggest thing was numbers, making sure that just everything was fitting correctly.
That's good. Very good recommendations. And also the legal part, I would say that is very important, like you just mentioned, right, Jessica, the legal part of the asset purchase and having it in writing, I would imagine, correct?
Yes, it's very, very important.
Awesome. And it just shows how you should have your key people in your corner, along with your family, of course. That's, I bet, a big help too. Having the support of the family, that can help. Um, and I also wanted to ask, how was the filings and the negotiations like? I know sometimes, for women, it might be a challenge to negotiate or come to terms. How was that for you in your case?
It was very simple. The first time I actually met with Jonathan, I came in with my two accountants, and we really didn't even talk. He just explained to us a little bit. He told me what it was, what he wanted, and he showed me around. And my accountant just got into the numbers right away. They asked him, "This is what I need from you, so we can continue doing our evaluation." And so that's literally what all we did within an hour, just look at numbers and making sure everything was up to date. And after that, within a couple of days, I had a number for him, and he had other offers. And after about, it took us about 2 months, more or less, to do everything from day one to the day we signed. And as for filings, it was pretty simple, just because I was able, with my lawyer, I was able to go through everything. He told me, like, you need this, this, and this. And so I went into all of the pages and was able to get all my, like, permits getting. So I just went into the office and I was prepared. It did take a while, with COVID. It's sometimes a little bit like behind, but for me, it was pretty much how they told me they're going to come in on Thursday, and they did, and that's how it was. So it was pretty easy that way, but I was very prepared to just like go ahead.
Wow, awesome. Well, I, I bet it's a lot of different things that have to come into place. So that was great that you had your attorney and your accountant all available for you, right, to help you with that process.
Yes.
And that goes to the next question. So, were there any other professionals or mentors that assisted you in acquiring the business?
The biggest ones was definitely my attorneys, my accountants, and my father, who has always been the mentor, my guide for everything, and my brother. So between the four of us, we pretty much did everything, and going back and forth into seeing the potential, the growth, what we want also for future, and if it was something that it was fitting for me as well. That's something that I wanted to do, that I could see myself doing in the future, because it's not just a job that you do a year or two or three, depending. It's just something that goes on for future.
Most definitely. And I know you shared, so you said it, how long did the process take in acquiring the business again?
About 2 months from
About
the,
2 months, right?
yes. So I sent an email to the former owner, and within a couple of days, I had a response. We had a meeting, I think, a day or two after that. And that's when my accountants came in with me and we looked at numbers. So within the first week, from my first email to me making an offer, was about a week. And then another maybe 2 to 3 weeks before he went through all of the offers, and he met with um, other people. And yeah, so it was about, yeah, 2 months.
Mm. And I know that you said that you kept the recipes the same, but did you rebrand at all, besides the name change? But did you have any other rebranding or anything like that with the business?
Yes, we're actually working with that at the moment. It's something we actually, our new logo just came in. We're starting to use it this week actually. And it's something that we're not going to change everything at once, because it's very hard for people to, sometimes they think that it's completely changed, or we're not the same person, or we're not doing the same things. So it's something that it will be done throughout about a year, more or less, just to get everything a little bit, getting people to know me, knowing my new logo, getting also the new recipes, getting to bringing new items and different pastries within the same realm of French pastry. Like you mentioned, classically French trained. So it's something that's within the same area that Jonathan did too.
Awesome. And is your with your logo and your slogan, was that new or was that from Jonathan, from the previous owner?
No, for me, my
From
sister,
you, it's
both have,
really,
yes.
it's really cute. Do you mind sharing with the audience what it is, your
Yes, of
slogan?
course. Our slogan is born and bred in El Paso.
I thought that was so sweet. I mean, it was really cool. It was really neat. um, did you gather new employees? Did you retain the staff? Did you have, how was your employees and your leadership
So,
styles there?
yeah, so I retained all of the employees. We do have new employees just because we need more production as the holidays are coming up. It's just so much to do that we couldn't just be the ones that we were. I think I started with 15. Right now we're 19.
Wow, that's great to hear, especially during these times. And how were they resistant? How did you create that company culture for them to be okay with the transition and the new ownership?
Well, I was very lucky that the transition was very smooth, I think. Um, I was able to come in a couple weeks before doing the full change of ownership. So I was still working with Jonathan for 2 weeks and help and working with the staff. So I was able to go on my own to talk to, like, for the clerks, to the bakers at 3 in the morning. And so for 2.5 weeks, my schedule was between 2, 3 in the morning till 8 at night. And I was able to speak to everyone. I had questions for them. Also, I just stood there just asking, like, what do you want from me? What do you need from me? Is there something that you have questions, concerns? What can I do to make things better? Is there anything that I need to be prepared for, like scheduling, or um, like things that we can also upgrade? That's one thing that um, my dad has always said, like, what can we do to modernize? What do you need? What can we do? Do we need new refrigerators? Or, I was like, we're working there. So it's been one of those things that I was able to speak to everyone, and I had that opportunity to start gathering information. So on day one, I was not shocked to see what we needed. I had a list of things that I wanted to do. What can we change? What can we get doing better, or even for scheduling, doing like with right now with the pandemic, we try to be as close as possible to not AM and PM to mingle too much, just so there's not too many staff at the same time, and just clearing up everything. So it's been one of those that it's just making sure that everyone's okay. And I was able to speak with everyone, like I said. So it was very very nice.
And I'm glad to hear that they shared, right? That they were open to share what would help the business, what would modernize the business. Very good questions to ask. And I'm happy to hear that they were willing to share that information with you too.
Yes. So I'm
So,
actually very lucky.
um, what would you say are the risks involved in business acquisition?
So there are a lot of risks. Just from the beginning with employees that maybe they didn't like my style, or even um, the customers. Sometimes they just decide that it's not what they want, or they just see change. Um, I think those are the biggest risks. Also, because I was lucky enough, like I said before, he already had a loyal following. He has very loyal customers, and they come every single day. They're expecting something. And also, the biggest risk is, well, maybe they're not going to follow me. Maybe they're just not going to like coming here. And I'm hoping that the first day I was like, I hope someone comes to the bakery. And I was fortunate enough that it was 7:50 and there was already two people outside the door.
Wow.
So I know not everyone gets to have that, but I was lucky enough to be able to have, like I said, a revenue that first day, even if it was only one pastry that they were buying. Um, but the risks come into like money wise, that sometimes we're not aware, that sometimes we plan, like I said, I did my numbers every 2 to 3 days, and even then I missed something. I always did. And there was like something like, oh, we need this. I'm like, ooh, or I forgot to order flour and we don't have enough. And I was like, wow. So there was risks of money, there's risks of scheduling, there's risks of with right now with the pandemic going on. That's also something that we just need to be very careful with the news, making sure that we're listening to all the channels and making sure that we're making the appropriate decisions for everything. So yeah, those are pretty much the biggest ones right now.
I could imagine. And especially through COVID, has that ever crossed your mind, Jessica, about acquiring the business during a pandemic?
Yes, it was very scary. When I first the first thing, I got very excited, sent an email. I was like, I'm ready for this. And then my sister's like, are you not scared? And I was like, I hadn't even thought about that. And then I started thinking, well, I mean, yeah, it's really hard. It's very scary. We had to close 2 weeks for cleaning. One was for all the filings. We need to get our permits done and in place. And then the second week, we decided that we needed to close down and clean, because we thankfully receive a lot of customers daily, which we're very thankful for. But at the same time, it's very scary because there's so many people coming in and out. And so it's very scary. Sometimes we don't get a lot of people in, we don't sell that much. And yeah, just because we might be shutting down at any minute. So that's also very scary. Acquiring business is scary, and then doing it through a pandemic, it's even worse, because I don't think that there's enough, um, you don't know what can you do or not, since it's something so new.
Sure. And how do you encourage or how do you help your employees to feel safe working there, since you do? I know you said that you try to schedule, different times so there won't be so many at one time. But what are some other ways that you help them to feel safe at work?
So scheduling has been one of the biggest ones. We are also we're cleaning, deep cleaning every single day after, making sure that we disinfect everything, mostly all the front area, because that's where we get all the clients, but also the the kitchen area. We actually, we're not even allowed to eat inside just because we're so many at the same time, and it's a little scary. So we try to either go to our, like for example, to our cars or out to the back away from the entrance and eat there, just so make sure that if there's anything that could happen, it's not inside and then we're all there.
Sure.
So we've been trying to do or maintain our as much as possible space between each other, trying to be as well prepared as we can. Really, it's as, and then like I said, we're also getting professionally cleaned the bakery, so that's also very helpful.
Well, most definitely. And I wanted to open it up for questions from our participants, Jessica, if that's okay. And one of our first questions is, why did you decide on becoming a pastry chef? Was that always your passion?
No,
No.
no. As growing up, I grew up a lot with my grandmother, so I was always in the kitchen making tortillas or tamales or anything I could help, or even if I didn't help, I just thought I was helping. Um, I went to school because I wanted to train in culinary school, and I was like, that's me. Once I got there, there's so much pressure going on. There's always like run, 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 run. And I'm not that type of person. I mean, I am in certain things, but not like in the kitchen is so much stress. And the pastry side is more calm. I can experiment a lot. I can make, I don't know, chocolate molds or anything that we can use. And so I like that more. There was more patience. I don't know how to describe it. So that's when I was in school, I decided that that's what I really wanted to do. I cook at home all the time and experiment in the kitchen, but working wise, I prefer pastry, definitely.
Oh, I can imagine cuisine is probably a lot more stressful, correct?
I almost tried a couple of times just to get out of the line
Are
because
you serious?
yes, in school we have a restaurant that the students help out with. So we either were in the kitchen or as servers. And every time that, so I had to serve twice, minimum of twice, in for the pastry and the cuisine. And every time, and they're like, "You're in the line." And I'm like, "Do you really want me there?" It's like, so I always ended up in the salads or doing the side dishes because I just didn't want to be. And the teachers were very nice to me, and they're like, "Fine, we'll put you in the sides." But yes, I that was one thing I was like, I just can't with that stress.
So for people that I guess don't have a culinary background, what's the line exactly? Is that like preparing the main dish?
Yes, so the line is where they prepare the meats or like poultry,
Mm.
whatever is that the main ingredient, and then we have within the line there's also the which is the side dishes. If you have that's anything that's hot, so if like spinach or like cream spinach or corn or mushrooms, whatever it is, the side dishes, that's what they call the line.
Oh,
So
wow.
yeah, and then so the anything that's cold, it's on the side, which is like the salads or yeah, mainly the salads or soups, like their cold soups or like gazpachos, they're on another side just so they don't get the heat from it. So yeah.
Sure. Awesome. Sort of like Chef Ramsay, right? Master Chef. That's what it reminds me of when you talk about stress in the kitchen and stuff like that.
Yes.
Our next question is, do you have any other business ventures in mind?
Um, Currently, I do want to expand within the bakery. There's a few ideas there that I want to do within the bakery. Yes, outside to other maybe other businesses, not right now, but within the bakery, yes. I did my internship at a chocolate shop, which is one of the most, I hated working with chocolate when I was in school. And while I did my internship, I actually learned how to use it, how to model. So
Jessica, do you mind repeating your last what you said last because it sort of froze a little bit. I just think it stopped with with your internship that's how you started learning how to handle chocolate.
yes. I learned to temper it, which is bring it to a certain temperature that needs to be so it looks shiny and pretty. So once I was there, I learned a lot from everyone there, and I really enjoyed. So that was something that I want to do, and hopefully I can introduce that in the bakery as well.
Great. Our next question is, how do you decide what to change and what to keep the same from the already established business?
So that information, I don't do it all by myself. I have mostly the clerks who will tell me, you know what, this is not selling, or even customers who say, you know what, I've got emails all the time that says, you know what, I don't like that, or I didn't like how this tasted, or I don't like how this is turning out. So we look for a solution, like, can we do something to make it look better if it's because it doesn't look right, or maybe we overbaked, or it's just something that just people don't like. There's things that I personally like, but they're going to be like, no. So like the first one of the things I was like, I love the oatmeal cookies, but I don't like the raisins. And one of my clerks was like, no, 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 don't change it. People love them like that. So it's something that it's not only me, it's everyone who comes in and just say like, what if we do this? I'm like, well, let's do that. And we tried it. And it's like, oh, people really like it. So we keep it. And if not, we just remove it, try something different. Definitely.
Wow. So being open to suggestions is really helpful, right?
Very important because you need to give the customers what they want.
Of
Because
course.
no matter how much you like it or the staff likes it, if the customers are not buying it, there's no purpose for us to doing so much.
Sure. Of course. And we have a little fun question to hear a little bit more about you. But they wanted to know, what's your favorite thing to bake?
Eclairs and profiteroles.
Eclairs?
Yeah.
Wow.
I do, or the cream puff, when I do them at home, I like to put ice cream. That's
Oh,
yes, I love to do that. It's a little time consuming, the pâte à choux, but it's definitely worth it. And like I said, I usually do. We actually did conchas not too long ago. The filling that goes in there, that's what I put in the profiteroles, and I freeze them, and then that's how I eat them.
oh, wow. Very interesting. And our next question is, what advice do you have for someone that is trying to decide between creating a business from scratch and someone deciding on acquiring an already established business? What tipped the scale for you that made you decide to acquire the business instead of starting from zero?
That's a very hard question just because there's so many things that you need to take into account. Like I said before, for me, the reputation that the business had was something very important, that something that you are not going to come up necessarily right away, because although your family and friends support you, they can't support you every single day. So even though my best friend loves me, she's not going to come every single day and buy a pastry because sometimes economically it's not possible, as well as family and friends. So it's just one thing that, in a way, I was very lucky because, like I said before, he had very, very loyal customers and he already had established something and people keep coming for it and they love it. So for me, that was a plus. Also, I mean, it's not the same because I can't come in and just change and do something different because I have other ideas that I want to add, but I have to stop myself a little bit just because I need to do it slowly. And because if I change everything day one, the couple of weeks that I was there working with Jonathan before becoming the official owner, everyone kept asking like, "Are you keeping everything? Are you keeping the recipes? Like, are you still going to be open? Or can I still buy baguettes? Can I still buy this?" So it's a very scary from both sides because you want to do something on your own to show what you have to offer, but at the same time, it's can I do that with having revenue right away, or how tight are you on your finances? Because, like I said, things come up all the time. A couple, maybe 2 to 3 weeks ago, our proofer, that's very, very important for us, like, it's just stop working. I'm like, so what do I do? So it's kind of one of the things that, I mean, do I have the money for that? So the little savings I had to fix that, and then also I need to fix another panel right now. That's something very important for me too. So I'm glad I have a revenue at the moment that I can do that, even if it takes me maybe a week or two to get that money to do any changes. But at the same time, when you're doing it from scratch, maybe you don't like it. Maybe you start everything new, which is great. You're not going to have any of those extra money that going everywhere to getting repaired. But it's just, I think it's a matter of what you want. What do you want to do? There's, like before we mentioned about the risks. I think the biggest one is financially, just because you need to make yourself known.
Of course, it just takes time, right, to get into the market and for people to try and be comfortable with going and trying it out, right, and saturating the market that way. And so our next question, it's a little fun too. They wanted to know what's your favorite menu item right now at Bellacora?
My favorite has always been the fruit tart, I'm sorry. And right now, the almond macaron is the best one.
Oh,
I was more
awesome.
for the pumpkin cheesecake one, but
How funny.
or the coffee clear too. That's really good too.
The coffee, Claire. Oh, wow. Yum. And so another question is that there were that Jonathan would host baking classes before. Is that something that you're interested in continuing, maybe virtually?
Yes, just not right now because our kitchen right now is not that it's a mess, and just that we have so much to do. It's
Mhm.
very, very hard for us to do that. I mean, I do have the time, but as well, my staff has to package all of those individually, and it's a little time consuming.
Mhm.
But I do want to do something like that, but probably until next year, just so we can get the holidays smoother. Just because we need all the time we can get in the kitchen right now.
Sure, understand. And our next question is, how did you go about building your team, such as finding a trusted accountant, lawyer?
So we had, so I used my father's lawyers and accountants that they've been with us for a while already. So it was something that I think I just called in. I was like, I need someone to come and help me out. So he has a team already that we've used for years. So I just went through that route because I knew them already. But definitely, my biggest tip would be look for someone that you can talk to. Um, Both of my teams were Spanish speakers, just because I feel more comfortable speaking in Spanish and getting all my points across. And just wanted to make sure that everything that I needed or wanted, it was written as it is. And obviously, sometimes it doesn't come out great in English. So that's what I did. I just need to know. I feel comfortable with them speaking to them and say, you know what, I don't agree with this. Can I do this? Can we change that? Like, because I'm not proficient in anything about the law in general. So it was something that for me, that was the biggest thing, is just being able to speak to them, and obviously to see what, also there's different types of accountants and lawyers. Just make sure that you're choosing one that knows how to do what you're looking for.
Great. And our next question is, how did you find out about the business being for sale?
Through Instagram, actually.
Oh, wow. I,
Yeah, he posted it on Instagram, and at that moment, I literally got my computer. Within 5 minutes, I had sent an email already.
oh,
So yeah,
wow. That's great. And I think that was his way to announce you as the new owner too, right?
yes.
Yes, I did
Yes.
see that post too. um, and also, there was another question about, I don't know if you're comfortable, but of sharing. The question is, how did you come about financing your venture or your business acquisition?
So it's something, my dad helped me out. So it's the reality. It's something that I didn't go to the bank and ask for a loan, which is, I know not everyone can do that. So, but my dad is like my bank in a way that he's asking me for numbers. He needs to make sure that I'm doing what I need to be doing. It's not like he just like, here you go, do whatever
Mm-hmm.
you want. I do go back to him and I'm like, this is what I did. This is how much I have in expenses. I need to do this. Can I do that? And then because sometimes I come up with him. I'm like, you know what? I have this money and I want to do this. And then he's like, are you sure you can do that? I'm like, sure. And then we go back into numbers and he's like, nope, another 2 weeks. So it's not that I can just have the money as a like in a second, just because I am being monitored by him at the same time because he wants to make sure I'm making the right decisions. And so I do go back. It's not like I said, I didn't go through a loan with the bank, but it's like I did with my dad. So which is great because sometimes, like I said, I miss things, and it doesn't matter how much I do my numbers. There's always something that comes up, and I think within the first couple of weeks, one of my clerks calls me and she's like, "We don't have any bags." I'm like, "What do you mean you don't have any bags?" She's like, "We ran out of bread bags." I'm like, "I just bought one last week," and she's like, "We don't have any." So
Wow.
I was not even aware. So I had to go back. I'm like, "I need bread bags," and so yeah, the little savings that I'm doing right now because there's things that I want to purchase to for the bakery is just sometimes little things that I was not aware and that I need to buy an extra. And right now, for example, my expenses this month was very large just because we needed to prepare for Thanksgiving. So we have so much inventory at this moment, and it's without being touched until this weekend that we're going to start using everything. I think I have around 14 boxes of eggs only, and
Wow.
it's a lot of money. But at the same time, I know it's going to be used. So
Mhm.
it's just, yeah, it's one of those things that it's hard.
No, I could imagine. And there's many people, even the clients that we see through the center, they have large, their savings, they have their retirement that they're investing. And that's some great tips that you're giving, Jessica, because treat yourself like you're your own lender in a way, because you want to make sure you see a return back, of course.
Yes, very important. And
We do.
no,
Almost. Oh no, it is very difficult, but it sounds like it's amazing that you have such a great supporting team, and that you're open to their suggestions and your family support and everything like that. So that's great. There is a question from Facebook that wanted to know what's the new name again? I know that we announced it, but if you want to share it with our attendee or viewer from Facebook.
so we actually didn't change the name. The name is Belcora, and Jonathan had it in the beginning. I think it was the first couple of years as Bel Sucre, which means beautiful sugar. But I don't know, I can't recall why he changed it, but he changed it to Belcora, which is actually his daughter's names.
Mm.
And it's been like that for the past, I know for a fact, 5 to 6 years. But yeah, we
Okay.
haven't changed the name. It's the same Bellacora.
Bellicor is the same. Um, Another question, it asked, do you ever wish you could reach out to the old owner still? Are you in communication with him, or is once he sold and that was it?
No, we actually are in communication. Sometimes we miss
Oh, that's
something.
good.
Like I said, we have this recipe. So sometimes there's something that doesn't make sense, even though the instructions are there. I'm like, I don't know. So we reach out and like, hey, can you please explain this because we don't understand this instruction? Because even though you have a recipe, depending on how you make it, it's the outcome. It's not as easy as just everything goes the same way. Techniques, depending on the technique and how you do it. So I do it a certain way, but sometimes depending on his recipe, he changed something that can completely change the recipe or how the technique has to be done. So it's one of those things that I'm very grateful with him that he has been able to. He's been very open. He's like, doesn't matter, just call me whenever you need. I'll help you out, which has been great.
Wow, that is amazing that he's still supporting you through the business. So before we close today, I just wanted to thank you, Jessica, for being with us and taking on that big endeavor of acquiring a business. But we wish you all the business success. And I wanted to see, were there anything that you wanted to share with the audience today?
Of course. Well, obviously, I would love to see everyone there. Come and join us. And but also, if there's anyone that wants to reach out or have any other questions, definitely reach out. I'm here to help as much as possible because I know how hard it is. I reach out to people all the time, even if it's only my family or I have other friends that I'm like, how are you doing this? Can you help me out? Even through the pandemic that we're going through, and it's like I know other friends that have businesses, and I'm like, what are you doing? This is what I'm doing. Can I change anything? Would you recommend anything? So definitely, if you want to reach out, more than welcome to. I'm always at the bakery, either east or west, and definitely come over. We are open from Tuesday to Saturday from 8 to 6, and next week will be from Monday to Wednesday from 8 to 6. So hope you guys come and join us and say hello.
I just wanted to plug in for our viewers. If you haven't gone on Fridays and Saturdays, she does have the pizza dough available, right, for sale. If you would like to share with the audience a little bit more about that, I think, especially since we're having to stay home and be safe, I thought it would be perfect for our audience to do something with the kids or even within themselves or their loved one. Would
Yes,
you like
I
to share?
mean, I think it's something so simple. It's $3 for 16 ounces, and it doesn't seem like much, but like at home, even if we sometimes that we don't sell them all, I bring one home and or I give one to my cousin for my nephew, and they make pizza at home. And it's something that my cousin always like, we just saw a movie, we had pizza, and it was so much fun. And you get to be with the family. So it's very easy to make. We offer it Friday and Saturdays, and it's not on our website because we usually don't do that much. But if you can call and reserve at any time. There's also, I know Jonathan had a video of one of his classes that he made pizza, but if you always have a question, you can call in and we can explain it as well. But yeah, there's so many possibilities and so much fun.
And I wanted to plug in your business too. Would you mind sharing what your specials are for Thanksgiving? I did see them on the website. They look delicious. So what kind of pies do you have?
So we have 4 different pies, which is our the most known and everybody loves it. It's our salted caramel pecan pie. We have pumpkin pie, apple pie, and cherry pie.
Wow. Wow.
And we're doing a few things different this year, actually. So he usually has the honey bunny roll, and then we're adding the jalapeno cheddar rolls too. And we're doing our French loaf, but we're doing it with a little spinach and artichoke dip, which has been really good. We've been doing a lot of trying at the bakery. We've been trying a lot. We're also doing cornbread, and we've been doing what else are we doing? We're doing braids, which are Nutella braids or strawberry cheesecake braids. We're having so many things.
Wow.
Yeah, definitely come on in. We have a lot of specials. I mean, that's for Thanksgiving weekend, but we have small salted caramel pecan. We have cheesecakes. They're going to be staying forever because people have been asking them a lot. So we're going to be doing that more. We have our macarons that are also right now. We have 5 flavors, which is the pumpkin cheesecake, the almond, bitter pecan, and I can't remember the other two. Oh, hot chocolate abuelita, very
Oh,
popular
wow.
as well. And the one I can't remember. I'm sorry.
It's okay. Wow, this sounds so delicious. We're going to have to definitely go support you. But I wanted to thank you for your time, Jessica, for sharing your story and also giving us a little door prize for one of our participants. We'll notify you if you receive that 15% off on your next purchase at Bellacora, right? Is
Yes.
that what we're giving? Right. Okay, perfect. Well, thank you, Jessica. Thank you to our attendees and our viewers for joining us today. We wish you a very blessed Thanksgiving and nothing but business success for your new business.